It is.
We ready?
We are on
We'll
record.
do the pledge real quick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. All right, welcome to the October the 10th special meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Let the record show, all three commissioners are here, and our auditor, I don't know where you get hold
I emailed him when I emailed you guys.
Okay.
I'm not for sure.
All right, the first thing on the agenda this morning is, or this afternoon, I should say, is NDOT Access Road Pipe Project for Hardy Lake. So come on up and tell us what you got. How's that?
I'm gonna let you have, I don't know if you guys have a copy of the agreement.
No.
I got a couple for you to look at here. It's different than the one I think that was emailed to Mr. Houston. Okay.
You got another copy there, John?
No.
The project is replacing 14 small structures on the access road to Hardy Lake. It is set to go to letting 8/5 of 2020. What we need is the signed agreement stating that NDOT can purchase the right-of-way in the name of the county, since this is your right-of-way. If
You want to give some background
Sure.
on the project? This is an access road program project, and so ENECO makes provisions for NDOT to make improvements on county roads from a state highway to a DNR facility. And so back, I think in 2011, late December of 2011, Scott County, working with the Indiana DNR, proposed to replace these, or make improvements to these culverts, and that's what started that. And so DNR kind of proposes that, it gets sent to the governor, the governor blesses it, and that's how NDOT gets that project to develop. So NDOT develops, we'll do all the engineering, we'll do all the right-of-way acquisition, and the construction, pay for it 100% with state money. And at the end, it gets turned back over to the county. So this is a county asset that we can improve this to.
Question I have is, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, the question I had was, so what you're saying is how the road is right now, when you're done with your project, we're not gonna have to go in and pave anything that you tore up or messed up or anything else. It's gonna be in the same way it is when you took it over and before your construction.
With the culverts that are replaced, there will be pavement on top of that area that's disturbed.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. So you're gonna, like the state or whoever's doing the work is going to replace it like it was. They're gonna patch it. I
Right.
understand.
The whole access road won't be repaved
I
and complete, but
understand
yes.
that. Just-
The way it sets now in coordination that happened back on the preliminary field check, which was a few years back, the work is going to be done on Hardy Lake off season, which is, I think, November to March. They're going to do the replacements. It will be gravel until we can get the asphalt plants back, and then they'll come back and
Yeah.
pave over top of that.
That's, I just wanna make sure that it's gonna look just like it did when you started, so.
With new pipes.
So the 15 new pipes, first we were told 7, or 14, first we were told 17, now 14. Is there actual 14 pipes, or are you saying one area has 3 pipes and another area has 1?
I've got a plan set here. I haven't been out on this project yet since I'm
I don't know, you
the
guys
new
stuck with it.
PM. No, it's gonna be great when it's done. I did have I thought I had in here. I think it's actual,
I was just curious to know if there's
Sure.
actually 14 cuts.
they're all separate structure numbers, so. Yes, but I think in some areas there's 2,
Okay.
there's 2 or 3 pipes, but yeah, there will be 14 separate.
pipes. Okay.
So there's gonna be some times when the road's gonna be shut down for traffic that's homeowners and farmers and
There is
stuff
gonna
like
be
that.
MOT, but it won't be restricted to where they won't be able to get out. I mean, obviously construction will with them, they'll never be blocked in.
Okay.
What, let me ask you, and they talked about this before, that's been ongoing, as you know. Why are we cutting the road and replacing the road and not doing the slip line that they had talked about back earlier? Why is the reason to do that? Would it not been cheaper and just as efficient to slip line down there?
In some cases, slip line can be more expensive. You are restricting the hydraulics of that structure when you put a smaller structure through there. Usually in a slip liner, you're putting a smoother material through. And that keeps the water flowing at the same rate it was before, but it's going, the quantity is flowing at the same rate before, but it's going faster.
Timers.
So then you have more, typically you got to put a lot more riprap at the end of those because you got higher velocities coming out of those pipes.
So with that being
Long-term
said,
maintenance, replacement is probably going to be better for you all, I would think, because
but with that being said, have you increased the size of any of these pipes? Or are you putting back in exactly what you're taking out?
I don't have the individual progress, or, I'm sorry, hydraulic reports.
you made plans here. Let's see. There's several of them. I don't know if you have time to go through every one. But
Do you know what they are right now?
No, I don't even have the new thing that you got. I've got the old one that Bob had, Bob Houston had.
Nothing, there was just some,
So
yeah,
it's just on
there was nothing.
Oh, okay, nothing's changed.
Nothing changed except some
Okay, okay,
comma.
okay,
Example.
okay.
I would imagine in some cases, some of those are going to get a little bit larger. Generally, when we replace a pipe, we've got to work with our permitting agencies too, because we've got impacts to the waters of the U.S. and stuff like that. So, like IDEM and Corps of Engineers, they require us to sump pipes a little bit so that there's more of a natural channel. And that also prevents a little bit of undermining of the water that's under the pipe. So the structures themselves might be a little bit bigger, but they will probably be sumped.
So you're not going, I guess, the rule of thumb, you're not going smaller, you'll always be the same or a larger pipe.
Yeah, we, NDOT's policy on small structure replacements is we never go smaller than this. Some of these are being replaced with box, you can put it aside. Concrete box. Others are smaller pipes.
The way it sits now, we only need to acquire right away from 2 parcel owners. So there will just be 2 parcels. We've tried to reach out to Mr. Houston to look at language on how the county wants that conveyed. Once we have that information, you guys will be given legal descriptions of your takes to review, so you can review the right of way before acquisition takes place.
Then there was a state road when it went in there. Well, has it changed parts? I mean, why would we be acquiring any more right of way?
If you go outside of the additional, what the county already owns, which in 2 cases, I think we have to come out a little bit further, we have to buy that extra right of way in those areas, either get the structure or riprap or whatever in that area.
I guess the question of that is, does the ditch go out that far in some of those areas? Because wouldn't the culvert be hitting the ditch that runs
Some
north and
of them
south the
are,
road?
but I'm guessing, yeah. Yeah. So it looks like you're gonna have, like, you're gonna come out just a little bit further, and you're gonna have some riprap in that area.
So it's like
and we don't put
like a
anything-
settling area.
Right.
Okay.
So anything that's going to happen, is going to be left permanent on another property owner is gonna have to be purchased in fee.
Do we have, and I'm very familiar with that area, so we don't, do we have, know what parcels that is out there that we have to? Is this
There's a plat.
One on here, yeah. Is this one of them?
Right here.
Okay. So this would be one of them here.
That's one of them there, yeah. And this is a different property owner up here, so that's your other one. So it might just be in that area.
Yeah, he's not here anymore.
How does that process work? You just contact them to a letter or something, tell them to
So that's up by Stacy.
Yeah, so NDOT will create a buying packet. The appraising has already taken place, so we'll have the packet for the property owner to look through. If they have any questions, a buyer can go out and meet with them, get all the proper paperwork signed in the name of the county. And then it'll be recorded and transferred
If somebody
transferred to
doesn't
you
want to
guys.
sell, then
Then it goes to condemnation, and NDOT cannot condemn in the name of the county, so condemnation would be done by the county. If that happens, then NDOT does reimburse for the cost of that, if it goes that way. We'll do everything we can to negotiate and try to assure that doesn't happen. Not
These
always
two-
the case.
These two properties you're talking about is, the additional, land, I guess, that you need is, it doesn't impede on any living areas. I mean, are these out in the middle of fields and?
I think so. I haven't seen anything to the contrary. It's
I
a
know
small
the-
box
the
right
one-
there.
The one there should, I mean, that house
I don't see any,
as well.
I don't see any structures. I don't see any
Well, that one house.
wells. I don't see anything that would be any,
So it's really
Any type of
not
measure.
impeding somebody's, whatever their house or their property or.
no, it looks to be just outside the ditch line. It's not close to any houses.
It's a low area anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where that's at.
I don't know if there might be any type of tree clearing in this area or not.
So that one property does have a lot of trees down through there, doesn't it? That one has doesn't it have a tree line there?
that is true.
If it's in the county right of way, we will be okay.
Uh, So,
Am I still maintaining that LPA as the LPA responsibilities? And basically, since this is ours, you're just asking for the county's permission to act for us?
Yeah, we can't buy it in the name of NDOT, and then by the time we bought it and then transferred it, so we want permission from you to go ahead and purchase it in the name of the county, for county record purposes. It's less of a headache, I think, later on.
So with you saying that, and you're buying it, you're technically taking over the area while you're doing this construction jobs, and then you're going to revert it back to us once you.
Yes, and I think that is lined out in there, yeah.
But when you're purchasing these two partials
Mhm.
that you need for additional area, you're buying that through the state and then gonna revert it back to the
No.
county, or you're gonna
We're acting on
act
their behalf.
as.
And it stays
okay.
ours
Correct.
once they're done?
Yeah, and
Yep.
that's where I was getting at, so,
Yeah.
all right.
well, you mentioned something a minute ago, but I don't know if you know this, but the fact that all DNR properties that have access roads that lead into their parks, that there is monies available
Yeah.
to do work and stuff of this nature. But you're saying that you're not gonna have the monies, or you're not going to resurface the road all the way in after you make 14 cuts to it and put 14 patches across it. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, the project as we were given it from the governor's office and DNR, limited the scope to several culverts, improvements to the culverts.
Can we ask for that, for it to be?
I think you certainly can. There's a few ways that if you guys wanted to get that resurfaced and you needed help with that. I mean, there is the LPA federal aid program is one avenue. Community crossings is another. Access road is another. Access road, you will have to get the governor to sign off on. But I mean, it's been done once, so.
I mean, we've been, very blessed and fortunate, and got most of them roads up in good shape out there of that's leading to other parts of Hardy Lake, that main road going into the gate there, I mean, that's 14 cuts, and you cannot patch that to where it's not going to be, I don't care who you are, I mean, it's going to be a rough road to travel. And I mean, if there is some way, I'd like to ask them if they could do it. I mean, I think that would be,
So is that by asking the governor to say that that is an access road and DNR pays for it?
I think the best way, well, the funds come out of the MVH funds for the distributed counties. That's how the access road works.
Before? Okay.
So your best bet to do that, I think, would be to contact DNR. I can give you contact.
Okay.
To reach out to if you want to go down the road of an access road.
I mean, it's a nice road, I mean, it's a nice smooth road now. I just hate to, you know, because
Obviously,
that's what,
this is-
3 miles.
You gave it to us nice.
Yeah.
You know, the state gave it to us nice. There's no way when we repair it that it would ever be what it
What
was.
it was, yes, and that's all that concerns me.
nor
Because
do I
that's
know we
just
can
one of
afford
our, I mean, let's face it, Hardy Lake is one of our big draw places here in this county. A lot of people visit that, and, you know, I mean, that's really nice about the slip line, but, you know, and I know what you said, and I can understand that to a certain degree when you talk about, in some cases, it's, but 14 culverts, and they're all culverts, none of them's gonna be
Well,
box.
he said, I thought you said there's a couple concrete
It looks like
boxes.
this does look like it's a concrete box structure.
The one that's coming out of the property is gonna be a concrete box.
Okay, but the rest of them mostly is culverts. I mean, that's an average of $54,000 a culvert to put them in. Cut that road and put them in. That seems like,
Well,
I mean, you know, I know it's a lot.
that's, yeah,
But,
that's because you have engineering.
Yeah, yeah. But,
I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah.
You can't say,
but I,
but yeah, you
again,
can.
I just like, I wish it was some way that we could convince them to put it back as it is as far as patching. And, I mean, if we could.
I mean, the only thing we can do on this one, because this is how Scott County Commissioners and DNR started this process, was just the culverts. Initially, the only option you have at this point is to go one of the avenues, to get it paved like you want it. But for this program and for this, what was arranged back in 2012,
And that was when, and that's when they was talking about slip line, so there would have been no cuts to it.
right?
That's what
Yeah,
they-
and it doesn't, I don't think that always works out when hydraulic analysis are done, given the state of what's there. And,
Yeah. Depending on hydraulics, the condition of the structure, sometimes there's deformities in the structure you can't.
If it was 2 or 4, but not 14.
If we want to pay, that's like a whole separate project, is that correct?
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
So I guess if DNR pays for the access road into all their state parks, it's actually, I was up at for sales. That's pretty nice up there for a road back to a park. But so I guess if they're paying for those type of entrance ways, I guess your avenue, what you're telling us, that we need to talk to them about taking a project and finishing the road after it gets tore up.
If it were me, I mean, you guys are positioned where you could take advantage of that programming, I'd try to take it.
And you've got a contact for DNR?
Is it possible and probable somewhere along the line they'll repave it anyway, whether we do anything or not?
It's,
No,
it's
it's
your,
ours.
it's your.
I know it's ours, but if,
They can't, and
Still
we have
not.
to ask them.
Yeah.
well, I thought it was like this, I thought they have an obligation to.
We asked this in
Yeah.
2012.
Scott County
We gotta ask
petition
that.
DNR.
Okay. Okay.
So we asked for the culverts,
You asked.
and now we're asking for the road.
That's right.
Yeah.
What else you got? What else you got?
I guess we should throw it all in the one.
Yeah.
You got a wish list?
The guy DNR is Dale Gick, G-I-C-K.
Dale?
Yeah, Dale. He's an engineer.
Do you have a number on him or email?
I don't know off the top of my head, but maybe I can look it up on my phone. If not, I can email it to you.
DNR can go around buying property all day long, and they can sure pave the road.
we'll probably go with the team.
It's going back to the swamp lane. Bob was over, I was talking.
I don't know if Bob's
He-
seen this one,
Yeah, he
has he
has.
seen this
Yeah,
one?
he's the one that sent it to me. She.
Our
he
council
has
sent
to
it
first.
to him. So going forward here, and I resent him an email, I need some information from him for the legal document, for the conveyance documents of how you want everything conveyed. And then he'll be able to look at and share with you the legal descriptions and kind of a picture of the new right of way in those areas.
We've kind of, circling back to this, we've kind of created our own mess here then, didn't we?
No, I mean,
Well, I
Do
mean-
you have paperwork for 2012 showing who asked for it?
it does, I've got that letter stating Scott County.
But we don't show anyone from here.
Whoever would have been
asking for it.
here in 2000,
Yeah,
What
you have
changed?
to,
What mean?
have to dig into it,
What
because
name?
usually NDOT gets involved after this happens, after this letter gets issued, so if DNR might have some information on it.
Well, and what I remember of that, and I was here, so what I remember of that, I think they, when they done, did they not find them culverts was malfunctioning and when they done the inspections of them?
I thought only the one up closer to,
And then
Okay.
I think they started looking at that, and then at that point, but again, I don't know that anybody from here petitioned to,
that wouldn't have been on inspection either, because none of them are bridges.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how but I don't think any of us, I
Okay.
know nobody from here ever petitions the DNR. Now, with that being said, they started talking about it, and then started talking about slip lining and that stuff, and it kind of, but we were pretty well all loop on that, so.
It also says they're kind of slow government.
It is, yeah, it is.
I think it's almost 220 and.
Well, now is probably the time to do it, though.
Well, no,
with projects.
no, not really. Not really. I mean, the only thing is, if one of them fails, then,
Like I say, on one side, we're getting free culverts, on the other side, we have a pasture road.
so,
But I'd say we need to reach out to DNR and
see if they won't, and I think that, if I was in their position, I certainly would, because I've got the state park back there, and as many people visit that a year, I think that they
It's
certainly.
benefit them,
Oh,
too,
yeah,
have a good
yeah,
road,
yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
think that.
The,
You don't wanna-
We certainly hate to have to close it during a busy time of year, I know that, we wouldn't want to do that.
the patching company will obviously be
Close that road.
different than the installers, right? Once you let it,
Your general contractor will they'll get the whole thing.
then he can contract out. I guess the question is, will you just let us know who, will we be in the loop to know who is gonna pave it and stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess the other side, since they're gonna be total control, they'd be contacting each homeowner saying, hey, we're gonna start construction this day, and you're gonna have deviated traffic.
Well, that gets a little tricky, because in this, it actually says that's kind of my responsibility. Again,
For
they are kind
detours.
of just acting
So you'll be just sending a letter saying, hey,
if they tell me.
Okay.
Um,
I was just trying to figure out, I don't want construction trucks show up one day and everybody's going, what the heck are they doing here?
usually in construction, they're pretty good about notifying the property owners
That's right.
when they're gonna have limited
I know.
access.
I know.
Yeah.
So how long do you, and I haven't read it in here anywhere, how long do you think that it's gonna take to replace the?
We're hoping in that downtime of November to March, get these
You're
replacements
gonna
done,
follow.
yes. We're gonna have to come back once the asphalt plants open back up and get them patched back over, but yeah, we're hoping to, it will be under the understanding that we're doing this on our off season.
I'm sorry, when did you say the letting was, 2020?
8/5/2020.
Okay.
So, not to throw a rush on this, but we'll have to get started with right away soon to make that, and we do want to make that 8/20 letting so they can get their construction notice to proceed about September and get going, and be ready to go for November.
So nothing would happen before a year from now.
Correct.
March of 21.
No, actually, the,
No.
you're talking
Yeah.
20.
November
Yes.
20th
Yeah,
and
Yes.
to March 21st.
yeah.
Correct.
The 20 though,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah,
So we're looking at it.
a year from now.
Jill, do you have a set of plans?
No, I do not.
Okay, so we need for those set
Okay.
for the county.
Okay.
Women would-
So is what's in front of Bob today ready for signature, or do you need Bob Houston to do something prior?
No, I think he's already looked over
Yeah, he's
what you
looked over
guys
that.
have, aside from a changed,
You just need
semicolon.
wording for the
I just
property.
need from him wording
Gotcha.
on conveyance documents and signatures from you three, and I think, I don't know, if you have a signature line on there as well. And then it has to be routed for full execution.
Can we, I guess, if, once we talk to DNR and they agree that they're gonna, so I'm convinced they will. But, is that something that can be added to this? Or does it have to go through this whole process of 8 years
That's a good question.
before we can move forward?
I'm gonna say process.
But I would
So
hate
is
for you
the-
to come in after the asphalt plants come in and patch over those spots, and then they come in and do the whole thing, or that
It ain't gonna happen that
you're
quick.
saying I'll be old,
Yeah,
older.
yeah, I might not even be here.
I'll certainly look into that question and get some answer. My gut feeling feels like the governor had to sign off on some kind of scope change to that, but I don't know.
Well, I think, I mean, all replaced, I don't know how you can say no to that, so. I'll entertain a motion to enter into this agreement that they have presented to us here to replace 14 culverts down Hardy Lake Road.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
I'll make it unanimous, and do you have you need, how many copies we need here, sign?
One copy would be sufficient, and then I'll send you a fully executed contract.
Did you find that number?
Got his email.
That's even better.
Will that work? Okay.
Thank you. Did you go this year?
No.
Yeah.
Hold on, sorry. It came up and just put his name, you know, that.
All right.
I can include it on the email when I send Jill the plans, if that works, unless you have something.
It's DGICK G-I-C-K @DNR.in.gov.
Repeat that, please.
D is a dog, GICK, G-I-C-K @DNR.in.gov.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you in the next 8 years.
Well, hopefully it might be before then.
Let's make sure that if we ask for paving and we're awarded, let's make sure they stripe it too, okay? So we're not doing culvert 8 years, blacktopping 8 and striping it 8 years later. So let's make sure we ask for the striping at that time, okay?
If you think of any other questions, please let me know. Jill knows how to get a hold of me, and I'll get you an answer.
Give somebody else next time.
No, we'll see this one.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's right, yeah. Real quick. As you guys know, our pager is down. They're trying but I had a council meeting the other day, and we have found one that I wanted to buy, but now I'm not sure, because I might be able to get a better one for the money. But I guess since our meetings don't add up always, I want to know if you will make a motion for me to be able to go to the council and ask for up to $75,000 to purchase a paper. Obviously, I will call all three of you and let you know what, when, where, how much, but,
When you say paper, new, old, new.
well, oh yeah, a brand new one's
I
old.
thought that, but.
Yeah,
Just the water,
do you want
just the water.
yeah, I will not get, yeah, I'll only get a, we had to rent to finish the rest of ours.
What is wrong with it? Multiple things?
No, it's a pump right now, they've got narrowed down to, but there's 2 back pumps and 2 front pumps. Right now, we know that we're gonna send the 2 back ones out to see if it's both or one or the other, but that hasn't even started us on the front pump yet. And I don't know repair costs or anything yet, so, believe it or not, the one we have now is newer than the one that I initially wanted to buy. And the guys thought that the one that I wanted to buy that we rented was a Cadillac compared to the one that we have, even though it is approximately 6 years newer. So, I don't know, we'll see, once I got the year and the hours and stuff on this other one and the amount, I'm not positive on it. But again, our meetings never go on the same level, especially at the end of the year, so I just want to make sure that you guys are okay with me going in front of them if I don't get to you first and asking for the money, as long as I have it, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to give you the money, or if you go ask for the money, if you find something that is gonna be what you wanna buy.
And I'll second that motion, and also say you've done a good job down there, Judge.
Thank you.
I think it's unanimous, and,
Still up.
again, it's something that we definitely need, and I think everybody's found out that with that wider pool, one pool's made a big difference on the roads, and so I think it's.
I think you set that up, because, you know, at the beginning of the year, you were complaining that your roads weren't getting paved. And now all of a sudden, yours are paved with the wider thing, there's not a slip down the middle of the road. So,
Stupid. Got the new guy here.
I was born tonight, not last night. No, it does a lot better job than we think we need to upgrade that paper
you're not
and
leaving, right?
do that.
No.
All right.
We're still gonna get everything done this year on time.
Yeah, well, I asked, well, I don't know about, I mean, I'll get it.
Maybe
done.
not.
Yeah, we've asked him if we could rent it to finish the last road, and
I didn't know how.
he won't give us the
affected
date we
that.
want. We're okay, I've paid in snow before, literally,
Okay.
but,
Can we tell them about the award?
She's gonna come back.
Okay. Okay. All right. Second up, sheriff's request to use the area behind the health department.
I'm not, I gotta go.
We want to try to use the back of the health department. I mentioned it to you, there's one bay area there that's got 2 lifts, a wash bay and an over bay, it's just one section. I went to the health department and asked Michelle if they had any problems with us using those. And they said no, it's be fine with us, just ask Commissioner. So what we want to do is we want to use those 2 bays to change oil, just small jobs, and this is absolutely, Joe Bucker,
Yeah.
this is absolutely nothing at all negative about, okay, of what's going on. That's where we have our cars worked on down at the county highway. But what we run into a problem with is like the other day, they're paving, so they're done. You know, they have to shut the garage and everything down. We had like 4 or 5 cars sitting down there. We can't go with 4 or 5 cars sitting down there. So then we had some that weren't broke down that had to have oil changes. So we can do the oil changes up there at John Jones. We've got a certified mechanic. It's actually a reserve of ours. So it's just going to be for usual oil changes, maybe something simple like brake job or, you know, something like that. That's what we might do with it, so. And the gas, you've already got the heat and air that's on in the building anyway.
Yeah.
So when, it would just be, we would just use that, we're not trying to take it over, yeah, so we just want to use it. John was down there the other day, and actually I called him and showed him, so he knows exactly.
Well, I was curious, yeah, you know, apparently we're okay, but I was concerned about those hydraulic lifts have to be inspected.
No, they don't, no, they're just a car.
Which we would like one of those.
Huh?
I've asked you all separately.
Okay,
There's
good.
more than one down there, right?
Yeah, there's several down there, there's actually.
We would like the
six.
permission to bring another one to the highway department. We need another one too, because
Move
just like,
Can't
oh
take it
yeah,
apart.
just like he said, if we've got 5 of his cars down there, I mean, we can only do one at a time.
Yeah.
so we can do
And
that.
they do an excellent job with our
Oh,
cars.
is it now?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's,
Let's just make sure.
It's your
two
property.
that are-
yeah.
Make sure it's the one that's not in the basic. Make
Yeah.
sure it's not the ones in the basic, you know, that's what I'm saying.
You get the one outside.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think, I don't see a problem with it down there. I think, you know, we can utilize that, that's what we got it for, and if it's something that we can utilize, and if you got somebody to take care of that, I think we're good with that.
I don't have a problem with space. Did you say besides changing oil, what else would they
Probably
be doing?
brake jobs.
Well,
That's
it
the two-
can be more than that.
Well, it could be, I'm not gonna say
That's what
what
you're
you're,
thinking.
that's the basic stuff that we
And
get done.
the county will supply the oil to the highway department.
No, we've
No.
done that already.
No.
You're
We already
okay,
did.
you're okay.
Yeah, it'll cost, it, you know, it's, we pay for everything, we buy the tools and everything, it's just, we just don't use the
I was just curious about the brake jobs, because if we're hiring, and I don't know if your mechanics, do they do brake jobs down there, or do they all go to John Jones?
No, we do.
You do them?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, are your mechanics certified to do brakes? That's where I'm getting at a legal thing here. If you're, when your guys are involved in an accident, DOT's gonna come in, they're gonna ask, you know, who worked on the
brakes.
brakes?
Certified
And
mechanics.
he's a certified mechanic, and if, I'd be kinda, I know it's my job, they come in and take all the files, all the maintenance files, and they, you know, attorneys come in and wanna know who did the work, and are they certified to do the work, and especially brakes, you can change oil, and oil's not gonna cause an accident, but I'm kinda curious with your guys, now that I say that, because you're changing brakes on your trucks and everything else, and
Can you get each other?
we need to probably
it's
see if we can
difficult.
get them certified.
Different one per cross, different one per forward.
That
You see what I'm saying?
Could put us in a bind one day.
I don't know. And just what he said, I don't know, how would you certify?
They go to school.
There's a school.
Yeah, forever, but again, you've got different, you know, you've got GM, you've got
I don't know
Chrysler,
about
you've got Ford, so would they have to go 10-1 for all of them?
Yes, each one of them will have their own one, because each braking
Or is
system
it like an
different.
online thing?
I don't
Is
know.
it
I don't know.
financially worth it to do that, or would it be better off just to take them out there?
I just-
I don't want
To
you to
me
do
taking
it.
the John Jones?
Yeah.
Well,
I
here's
know
the
they
thing
got
about
more
it.
expensive, but
Yeah, that's the problem we've got is that it comes out of that mechanical budget, which we have a very small need. And they've been doing them forever, I mean, they've always done them, but, and I know exactly what.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the liability could be just astronomical
Mhm.
if something happens. I mean, and years ago, there was an accident with the county, but they didn't look at the brakes because there wasn't a brake issue, but, I'm just looking at the liability. The oil I could care less about. I mean, the brakes, and I'm gonna throw it at you too. You know, I think we probably need to see if we can get them, I mean, because you're getting ready to buy some new dump trucks and they're all gonna be the same make. I mean, so we ought to be able to get them certified in those trucks anyway, so anyway, I'd look at something like that, make sure that they're certified, if that's the only. And maybe Bob Houston could tell us, hey, don't worry about it, so, but that's the only, as far as using the building, I don't have a
he
problem
gets
with
sued.
it. No. I've never seen a lawyer get sued yet.
And we'll take care of it, just like it's on, we'll keep it clean, we're gonna plan to do some cleaning, you know what I'm saying, 'cause this is where it's set.
He does have a good point, though, you guys look into the certification for sure.
I'll do that,
Both of you.
we can do that, on the issue, like I said, is we're maybe going back to council, saying I need.
Well, I just,
Yeah.
we gotta do what's right.
But I agree, I'll talk to Bob about it too, and see what he says.
All right,
It's not like it used to be where you just pull it on a shade tree and change the brakes.
I don't remember now.
Maybe on your own car,
Yeah, I don't remember now, but did you make a motion to allow? Yes.
I have just now.
Second,
Exactly.
unanimous. You got a key for it?
Yeah, we do. 'Cause we got
But
that
the
area
only
back.
thing I would ask on that there is whoever that you give a key to, let's make sure they sign for that key.
Okay.
And then if they're no longer with you or whatever, let's get that key back.
You need to
Okay.
get Gregor money too, because there's an alarm system in that back. It's a motion detector, so if you open the door or somebody opens the door, they're gonna know about it.
Yeah, they told us about that, or the health department did. So like I said, we've been going in and out of there anyway, because that's where we park our lawnmower, we do our lawn.
And part of that motion was to move one for Jill. I want to make sure that was.
Oh, you're talking
No,
about
I-
the lift now, that's two
That
different.
wasn't, that wasn't part of the motion.
We'll make it,
Huh?
make it.
I'll make it one.
Just as
John
long as
makes
it's
a
not the one
motion.
on the base.
Now, John makes a motion to allow you to take one out, not Jerry's,
Yeah.
one he's gonna use. And, I'll second that. Will you make it unanimous? We'll make it unanimous.
Thank y'all.
We got a building full of people that'll take that apart real quick.
Yeah.
All right, M&M Office Products Agreement, that was, I think,
I'm speaking on behalf of Michelle.
yes.
This is actually covered by a grant, but there's a little bit of confusion with the budgeting process. Andrew thought they paid it, and he thought, or they thought he paid it out of his maintenance contract, but it's actually covered through a grant. So this is just an agreement that they need renewed. There's a place on the back to sign right here. And it's for something through M&M that they use for their printer maintenance. There's an email from Michelle attached on the front.
And their money's in place, it
Their
comes
money's
out
in
of the
place,
grant.
you know,
It's
it's
just
all,
cleaning it.
Yeah,
just making sure we can pay it,
Motion.
and get the agreement.
I'll make it.
second?
Second.
I'll make it. Yeah, you can send that back to her.
Thank you.
Consideration of the claims to Indiana Clerk of Courts and Pitney Bowes. Is that right?
Yes.
We got Clerk of Courts, we need to pay them $310, and the other one is for $23.94. And I think this is because we're not having a meeting, as it would cost us more money, right?
To wait to
To
that.
wait, so these two here, we go ahead
And I'm
and pay.
sure I'm okay with this. Make plain to me.
The magistrate is, of course, an addition at the middle of the year, and there's certain Indiana portal fees, dues and subscriptions that they have to pay for every court. And I'm assuming this is her magistrate dues and subscriptions. And the longer we wait to pay them, the more the state tax on the dues and subscription amount. There's a little schedule here on the back that you guys don't have on your copy that says if we pay them by October 15th, they're $310. If we wait till December 31st, they're $360.
Yeah.
So we want to save some money.
And
So,
the other one is a postage meter lease,
yes,
basically.
and they will charge them interest if they don't pay by the 27th.
Motion to approve and pay these, John made it, second,
Second.
unanimous. And,
And I've got the original, and Bob, if you don't mind to sign these copies, just underneath that
Here.
auditor line right there where the X is at. Thank you, sir.
and then the last thing up here is an update on the council meeting. And I'll let Tammy tell you about that a little bit. We do have a letter here from the council, and
Yes, sir. Council agreed
Sorry.
at their last meeting to support, if commissioners were interested in any appraisals on the Dietrich building, that they have some monies in their professional services line that have not been expended to date, and that they would be willing, should you all decide formally to do something, not pressing for any kind of decision, they just wanted to tell you that money, they would be willing to pay it out of their general fund budget, to support you guys if you have any interest in all in appraising. Of course, it takes two, and there's an average, is the only offer we could make on that building at that point in time. So, again, that was just an offer, so they just wanted to let you know what came out of their last meeting. The other thing they discussed was the jailer security options that you all are entertaining, and that I said we'd have to look at the contracts. I couldn't remember if Alliance Security was 30 days out, 60 days out, notification, no termination. But I can't hardly believe it, but we're almost looking at the middle of October. So if it's a 30-day out, we've still got some time. But if not, this morning to maybe get Houston looking at it and see what we have to formally do. On January 1, you want your jailer security here in the
I believe
courthouse.
it's 30.
Is it
I
30?
looked at that.
Yeah, I think it's 30 days, but you're exactly right, we need to do that.
So just
Okay.
to let you know that they haven't put those jailers in, what they're looking at for 2020 to do an additional beginning of the year to support that, if that's how you guys go. Another thing that you've got in your packet underneath there is an invitation from 4-H for an
Yeah.
open house and luncheon. Want to make you aware of that, they wanted me to formally ask you and give you those.
That's next week, isn't it?
That is
They
next
sent those
week.
mail
Yeah,
too.
I will, yes, and please let him know I will be out down that day.
Okay, and then I've also included the holiday schedule proposal that will be in your November meeting packet, since we're not meeting in the middle of October. That's what we're looking at for the holidays. It's the same calendar we had this current year, I should say. It's just changing the dates and the days of the week. So some of these fall on Mondays, some of them fall on an actual day of the week, so different changes to that. And I just wanted to kind of give you a fair heads up on that to look at it. Also, your veterans application, that process closed. We had an application. I've reached out to Joe DeVito today, because I just realized as I got to looking at things, that I just had one app come in. That doesn't give you a lot of choices, a lot of things, so we may run that again. If that's okay with you guys, after I have some conversation with Joe, my suggestion would be to open that up for another couple of weeks and fish a little longer in that
Would
pond.
it make sense, I assume you just put that out in Scott County?
I reached out to Joe, sent him all the things, and he was to network that. I'm not for sure how many counties out or what he
Okay.
did.
We kind of let him take the lead on that.
Well, just work with us, not
Yeah.
a lead,
Well,
but in conjunction with. He will let him share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far as you know,
As far as I know, we did, but I haven't talked to him today, because I want to let him know our results.
so if we do this, we're still talking about another.
2
I think,
weeks.
2
Well, I'll
more.
post again, probably 3 weeks.
We can have it ready by our next meeting, maybe?
Problem, well, maybe middle of November, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's right, I agree with that.
So
All
I
right,
consensus to fish again.
pretty well ends that. Anything on your part, John?
Well, I wouldn't mind talking about this, if the council is willing to accept appraisals, I would be for that. You guys may or may not be, but I think it would make sense to move forward with it, and I don't know we have to buy it, but we can find out what it's worth and think about it. And I will throw something else at you too. I don't think we ought to, Bob's not here, and I wish he was, but I don't think we ought to rule out the Oak Health Department. I took a little tour of that the other day, and I think it's usable. I took Tony out with me. This is not an expert advice, he knows a lot more than I do. It looked to me like we probably have to replace the windows. But I think if that place is cleaned up a little bit, it could be used. Now, I think somewhere along the line, I think Bob had some concern about it, I don't remember. I was hoping he'd be here today. But I'd be for, we're gonna have more problems if we don't get something moving on this. Even, no matter what we do today, it's gonna be a month or so probably before we get anything done here. But I would be for us all taking a real hard look at that old health department unless there's just some reason not to, it's out there, ready to go. I counted 7 parking spots out front, and I understand the hospital owns that. We probably have to get some
Yeah.
agreements with them.
Yeah.
But it has to be cleaned up. There is a wheelchair ramp on the back, and that would probably need cleaned up, and done some things to it too. The roof, I think, was okay. Tony thought it was. I don't know how many years ago we said, but it's not been roofed that long ago.
It wasn't while I've been auditor, but I think during Teresa's,
Okay.
the last 4 years she was in it, they did some sprucing
They
up
did.
out there.
Yeah, it looked useful.
But I
Even
don't
the
know
carpet
how
looked good to
much.
me. It looked to me like it wouldn't take a whole lot to clean that up and get people in there.
You're thinking like the 4-H part of it?
Yeah, well, we do what we want, but that would be we could, It's big enough, you might be able to stick 2 offices in there. But I would, I'd let the 4-H take the first hard look at it and see how much they need, but, yeah, I mean, that could be done, we don't have to wait on anything to do that. But I don't want that to eliminate us doing this, because I think when we think about 4-H, I think we're thinking about today, get things done. But I think this building here is what, 3 years old? And when it was open, we had all kinds of space, and now we're busting the seam 23 years later. And I expect in 23 years again, we won't,
No.
but it ain't going away. There's gonna be an annex one of these days, in my
Yeah.
opinion, and I think that would at least be looking at, see what it costs, and then make a decision. But as far as out there, if Bob had, unless he got some legal issues, I think we can get moving.
Oh,
I know what the 4-H is looking for, and I don't think that building is actually big enough for what they're wanting, because they're talking about 3 office spaces, storage unit, a copy room, and then a kitchen area that would hold up to 20 people, and another, like a conference room for 20 people, and that building out there is not even close to
It's got,
supplying that kind of.
I think we counted 7 rooms in there, 2 bathrooms, there was a kitchen area. Now granted, it's not, I mean, you're almost talking a conference room, I think, but we could use this, and that don't mean they couldn't move something bigger at some other point. So I'm not trying to say, I'm sure you're right, but this could get us through to get this magistrate hearing opened up. And then that gives us time to, at least we got it open where they're not on top of each other in this room here.
The thing about the magistrate thing is that the 4-H is a secondary room that the magistrate wanted. The main room is gonna be the EMA room, and we hadn't even discussed where he's gonna go. So, but I mean, I've already said it, and I'll say it again, I'm not for buying another building on the square when we have John Jones's old building out there that we can spend the same money that we're gonna buy a building for and fix another area for somebody else. So it's still my opinion.
Downstairs, now this has been a while, and Greg might have looked at another decision, but earlier he had told me that room could be used for the magistrate, and he just needed that back space. It could be used as emergency still. It's not used very often. Has it been used at all?
Not since we had the tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that it's not important, I know it is to have that, but I got the impression we could do both there.
But with Greg's equipment down there though,
I think
I
that's
may be wrong, but that's Department of Homeland Security, and it has to be secured and cannot be, people access it without,
Yeah, so reject that.
Well, I would have a hard time looking at $2.5 million for moving. That's what his figures were.
That's where I was up in the air about the magistrate, but anyway, that's again, back to the health department, the old health department building, I wouldn't be for that. I think that building has served its purpose, and probably the indication I wanted to do with that building was to give it back to the hospital, and in turn for 2 rooms in the hospital for our coroner and to do autopsies, because when we were doing autopsies left and right, the state of Kentucky doesn't do autopsies anymore, so we have to hire an outside pathologist to come in and do those on site. Those work out great when there's nobody at Jerry's funeral home or another funeral home here in town, but if that's the case and he has to go to somewhere else, and it costs us some more money. So I think Kelly actually had it worked out with the hospital and to do exactly that, swap the building for a long-term agreement with the hospital for 2 rooms for a cooler and another room for a tables, so. But they've changed hands out there again now, and that process might start over, so.
So the only thing I'd ask is you guys take a look at it, and we'll have to make a decision, but I really don't wanna wait much longer for, not just the master, more for the extension office and the master, they both need to do something. And to me, it's the cheapest move we can make. And it's more room than they got downstairs now. And I think even if we decide to do something later, it gets us opened up down there. So, I don't know, and you gotta do what you think, but I'd like to at least have you take a look at it. I think it's cheaply salvageable for what we got to do. So, that's just where I am. And I'm all for the $4,000 appraisal over there too. We don't have to buy it, but if they get the money appraised, let's see what's worth. Make decisions. And if we don't do it now, we'll be waiting November, or December. And just me, I'm talking for myself now, I think sometimes we're waiting too long to do things. We promised extension, we start looking on this after the fair in June. And here it is 3 months later or more. And the things that happened downstairs with them, with the, in front of all those probation people, I mean, I think we put an awful burden on the auditor's office to try to make sure this stuff is coordinated. And I think it's our problem. I think we have to do something, not so much here. And this is gonna happen again. I got phone calls, I'm sure you guys did too. People weren't happy having these criminals with our kids. And so, whatever we do, I'd like to get moving with something. And my first opinion is I'd like to use the health department as quick as possible, the old health department. And we can still do all that other stuff we're talking about at some other point. But we'll get something moved, at least we'll start in the right direction. So anyway, we can all agree or disagree, that's what we're here for. So I'll make a motion to accept the council's $4,000 due to appraisals on the John Dietrich building.
All right. And I will say this, I don't know that it is something that, I hate, you hate to spend $4,000 to find out that if you're not going to buy it. But then again, it may be something that we want to, with affordability, we may have to, so I don't know that. But motion been made to have accept what the council sent us here, and it's, again, the council said at their October 8th meeting that they unanimously committed, the commitment was made to support interest in the appraisal of the Dietrich building. And so do I hear a second on that?
I'm not gonna make a second.
I will second it too, because I would like to see what this thing's worth, if it might somewhat be a benefit. And again, that's not committing us to buy it, it just says if we will look at it as an option on what could save the most money and fix our problems. So I will second that to get that done. I will look at the health department and go out and look at it too. And again, I do agree that we need to move forward. But again, I don't want to, I'm like Mike, I don't want to spend a bunch of money that's unnecessary. But the problem is the necessity is here. It's just where we're going to do it and how we're going to do it and how much you can spend. So we gotta look and see what we can do to alleviate some of the problems that we're having downstairs. And again, I'm gonna go back to the fact that I know that we've talked about security, but again, I just gotta believe that I'm convinced that we need to get probation out of here too. But that's just my thought.
I'm with you.
So, all right. Anything else?
That passed, right?
Yes. Anything else? All right. Do we want
Yeah, I think we formally need to.
to, can we, Jill, come back up here.
Yeah, we don't do
Yeah.
Where's your game check? temperature doesn't bounce.
This is, you guys know this, but everybody else, the Indiana Department of Transportation has completed the review and selection of projects for funding in the 2019-2020 Community Crossing Matching Grant Fund Program. Your community has preliminarily been awarded $983,876.10 in Community Crossing Matching Grant Funds based upon your estimates from your project applications. NDOT will be transmitting an award letter in the upcoming weeks. The Community Crossing Matching Grant Funds, which are administered by NDOT, will be used for the funding of up to 75% of the construction of your project and your purchase of materials. These grant dollars will enable you to help build and improve Indiana's infrastructure. The state of Indiana looks forward to partnering with all Hoosier communities, both urban and rural, to invest in road and bridge infrastructure projects. Improvements to local roads and bridges will bring about economic development, create jobs, and strengthen local transportation networks for all of Indiana. Signed, Governor Eric J. Holcomb and Joe McGinnis, NDOT Commissioner. I'm going to take this opportunity to say that Scott County has been very blessed over the last 4 years to this, basically, we've been awarded $1 million. This is just shy of $1 million, but this is the third time, and I think the other time was it 500, $500,000. So in the last 4 years, this community, and all of it's been spent on the road. That's all it can be. You can look out in our community, you can see things, a lot of the roads that was terrible are now good roads. And Jill, I will say this, has done one hell of a job on the applications, and we thank you for that. People don't realize it. Most counties is paying people to do that. And it's about $45,000, and she is, takes this upon herself to get this done. And she has certainly brought us in about a little over $3.5 million in the last 4 years. And I think Scott County is very fortunate to have you, and I know we are. So and again, the public needs to be aware that, hey, there's a lot of other places sitting out there today wishing they had what we got right here. And I'm going to give all the thanks to you on that because you do fill out the applications. So again, good job. And I know everybody is sick to death of construction in Scott County, but it will not last forever. And we will be back at it again next year, again, spending another $1 million on county roads. That's been a long time coming, and we certainly want to thank not only you, but we want to thank the state of Indiana and the staff and everybody that's involved in this. So, you know, our guys, you know, they again, blacktop, and they're out there when it's hot. And so, you know, bear with us, and we're making things hopefully a lot better for all of Scott County. That's what it's about. So, thank you very much. Anything on your part?
No, I just want to echo, I know you work hard, and I've talked to other commissioners, and they're out doing grant writers, and they don't get this. So I don't know what you're doing if their grant writers aren't done, but keep doing it. So.
Everything they said, I agree with.
Oh, you had a meeting.
I did, yes. I couldn't be there, but I certainly.
We gotta get pictures of it.
All right, I'll ask for an adjournment here.
Motion maker.
Motion made. Second? We are adjourned.